Hey guys, today I thought of discussing with you a very interesting piece which is called the two key valuation question. So we all do valuation analysis, we have studied that, but there is some minor insights that I thought of placing across, which I think would be of interest to you, right? So we start with the fundamental perspective of which are those two key valuation questions. But before that, let us understand what is valuation. So valuation is a process of using insights from different relevant valuation methodologies. So the two critical words over here are insight. So we are trying to derive an insight, and the second is we make use of different relevant valuation methodologies. Now, which are those? The first one is public comparable analysis, second is acquisition comparable analysis, and the third is discounted cash flow analysis. These three combined is called the big three because they are made most use in context of valuation methodologies to come down to a specific valuation, right? The other two are merger consequence analysis and leverage buyout analysis, which we are going to discuss about going forward. Now, public comparable analysis is basically analysis which is done in relation to the value that stands for the peers, and this is a standalone value that is computed. Acquisition comparable analysis is in context of precedent transactions, so earlier transactions which has happened in context of acquisitions, and it has to be understood that what is the extent of control value or the effect of synergies that takes place, and hence there is a premium component which is generally seen over here, and that's the reason theoretically this is one of the most the maximum value out of these three methods gets to come out of this acquisition comparable analysis section. And the third is the discounted cash flow analysis, where we understand the intrinsic value, which is also called which is also a standalone value, right? So on the other end, the one that we have mentioned about mergers and acquisition analysis and LBO analysis, it is from the context of affordability analysis, right? So why we say so? Because here we try to see in merger consequence analysis whether a strategic buyer is in a position to pay for this merger that's going to happen, right? So whether it is affordable. So in the first piece where we spoke about acquisition, the DCF technique, the relative valuation techniques, there we are trying to understand what is the value, but over here we are trying to understand whether a company, a buyer, would be able to pay for this sort of a transaction. So in merger consequence analysis, it is more from a strategic buyer context, and in leverage buyout analysis, it is more from a financial buyer context. So out of these two, where the maximum value generally stands, the maximum value generally stands in merger consequence analysis in context of strategic buyer, because there is a merger benefit that gets to be reaped over here. So there is a synergistic benefit, right, which is generally seen over here, and that's how the valuation is generally seen to be higher in this context, right? So the two key valuation questions that we get to see over here is what is the company worth and what can or will someone pay, right? So that is what we saw over here. So in context of the question, what is the company worth? So there the big three that we spoke about earlier, that gets to be the most important methodology that needs to be adopted. And if it is in context of what can or will someone pay, their merger and acquisition or LBO are the best methods to ascertain, right? So valuation is more than just a number, and an understanding of what drives the value and how that value can change gets to be very significant. So I hope you could understand and appreciate the difference between the two key valuation questions and its significance. I hope it added some value to you, and see you in the next video. Thanks a lot.